Astor Cup is going to be there for Alex Palou at Laguna Seca, a two-time champion. Worst finish of the year is eighth place twice, which is really crazy considering all the circumstances that can happen in a racing season. And your worst finish is eighth twice, 5 wins. Ended up winning at Laguna Seca last year. Alex Palou has undoubtedly done a great job this season, but he still has some off the track legal issues with Zach Brown and McLaren to sort out over the off season. And Chip Ganassi, if you watched his interview yesterday after the race, when asked if Palou would return next season, he said for sure that Alex Palou would be in his car next season. We know the champion is the face of the series in 2020. Palou was new to IndyCar. He was a popular new champion in 2021. Is it odd and maybe not a good look for IndyCar when your current champion is potentially going to court?
Yeah, there's definitely not good publicity necessarily around Alex Palou being the champion just because of all of his legal drama. And, this is like a more widely known topic in the world of motorsports because it involves Formula One. So a lot of people are aware of this. Alex Palou just got another championship, and he's in these contract dramas. He told Ganassi he wasn't coming back. Now he's telling McLaren he ain't gonna go there, and he's gonna stay at Ganassi. He doesn't have the greatest reputation, but I mean, he is champion. He's a well-worthy champion, I believe. And I, it's a very interesting situation. I'm not necessarily like upset he's champion because of everything. Like I said, he's definitely a worthy champion. But I don't know. There's definitely a question to be there. Like, is this bad for the series? I'm not sure. Maybe time will tell, though.
It was very interesting. After the race, Chip Ganassi, he came up to the media center for the press conference, and he said, Palou is going to be with us for a while. And then when Palou got there, oh, he's looking forward to being with Chip Ganassi for a while. And you could get a sense that everybody sort of knew there's a lot more going on behind the scene. There's a lot of stories going on about what's going to happen with Palou, with McLaren, with this lawsuit. And I felt Palou on the track, great. Talking to fans, members of the media, comes off as just very nice, friendly. But I think when it comes to the other drivers, it seems like his reputation is very much questioned as to what's going on with this contracts talk. A lot of mixed messages, signals all around. I think the biggest thing was just how from a year ago, everything with McLaren, and now here we are again. And then Chip Ganassi saying, hey, it was McLaren that started all this. I got a sense this wasn't just something McLaren all started because it takes two to start talking to each other. It wasn't like McLaren just brought in an offer and Palou unwillingly or unknowingly signed up for it. He had to engage in that. So I think there's a lot of questions about Palou being the champion. And the thing too, I feel sort of a lot of people don't seem to talk about. Remember, NTT was Palou's sponsor when he won the championship. That's the series champion. I mean, the series title sponsor. The next year, he still had NTT. Then here's all this drama. NTT goes to McLaren. And now it looks like Palou's not going to go there. And their champion this year has a different sponsor. It's just something where I feel like, is he really helping the sport when if NTT had stuck around thinking that Palou was not going to leave for McLaren, they'll have NTT banners with his uniform all over because now he has the American Legion uniform, so that's going to be in all the championship swag. I just feel like it's not exactly doing IndyCar the biggest of favors. Very personal when you talk to him. Seems like a great character, but we just know there seems to be quite a good number of baggage starting to add up behind the scenes.
And with NTT, I think they went to McLaren to follow Alex Palou there. So they're probably not very satisfied with how this has all turned out at all. They're probably like, oh, he's going to come over a little later now. It's okay. But now they're not going to get him, period. They're stuck on the six car. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting just overall how this turns out for him. But also, another thing about sponsorship DHL with Andretti, we just talked about that. They might be leaving. Are they going to go to Ganassi? Could that be a team that would they want to go over there and sponsor Palou or maybe Linus Lundqvist? I know there's a lot of questions about sponsorship too.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I'm thinking back to, when was it, 2011? I think Michael Andretti mentioned that the fact that they were able to buy that ride from AJ Foyt Racing after Ryan Hunter-Reay failed to qualify, that was a big part of why DHL stuck around. And look at where they are now, 12 years later. and how strong that partnership has been. So there's certainly sponsorship questions to play into this whole saga as well. And I think if you're Alex Palou, even though you're a champion and obviously one of the biggest stars of the series now, 2 championships in 3 years, only 4 years into your career, one of the best young talents clearly in the series here today, you would think sponsors would be all over trying to get, just a little piece of that livery there for Alex Palou's number 10 car. But when you have off-track issues like this, I think it might turn some sponsors off and maybe make it harder for him to find those partners to fund the rest of his IndyCar Series career, because he clearly has a talent. There's no debate over that. But I don't think it's a great look when you have all these off-track issues hanging over you. And for IndyCar as well, even though it's not necessarily their fault that Alex Palou has made the decisions that he's made, McLaren have made the decisions that they've made, just the mess that your series champion's in right now, I don't think that's a very good look for the series. And I think they I mean, I don't know that there's any bad blood between the series and Alex Palou or anything, but they certainly have to be a little bit annoyed. I think that there's this cloud hanging over the champion's head, so to speak, with all these off-track issues. So I don't think it's a great look. I also don't think it's a great look that IndyCar crowned their champion a race early. So I think we need to bring in some IndyCar playoffs starting in 2024 to ensure that we have a championship battle that goes down to the last race. I'm kidding about that one. Please don't do that. But in terms of Palou, of course, obviously a very, very popular talent, very great talent, but he does need to get these off-track issues sorted, I think, in order to be considered in the long run with the Poits and the Andrettis and the Dixons of the world in terms of his legacy, because I don't think this is a very good look right now.
Yeah, definitely, Ben. It's not a good look at all for Alex Palou, and hopefully all sides can figure out this legal stuff over the offseason. We can put this behind us and kick off the 2024 season on a more positive note. Is you're looking at this situation with Palou, Ganassi, and McLaren. This saga's been going on for over a year now. It looked like Palou was going to leave Ganassi, go to McLaren, angered all the people at Ganassi. Last year seemed to be quite a down year with this cloud hanging over their head. And then throughout the course of last offseason, throughout this season, Palou and Ganassi have mended fences, and it seems like they're on a good note. And then he had pulled the rug out from McLaren and be like, nope, I'm staying with Ganassi. And as we talked about on Grit tonight, I believe several weeks ago, we were saying that Alex Palou, just flip flopping back and forth like this is not a good look for him at all. Yeah, you can blame his management team that left him after he pulled the rug out from under them as well with the move to stay at Ganassi and not go to McLaren. Yeah, you can blame them and his representative, but at the end of the day, the buck stops with you, and that's Alex Palou. He's the one. His image is going to suffer, and being the series champion, you'd think in the future that you're not going to have any problems attracting sponsorship. But if I'm a sponsor, looking to sponsor a driver, although Alex Palou is an incredibly good race car driver, I would be kind of leery to sponsor him, considering all of the things he's been through with Ganassi and McLaren, because you never know, because you don't know if you can trust him or not. I think that's the biggest thing with Palou. Can you trust him? And it seems like at various points, especially last season, he seemed to lose some of the trust of his competitors as well. I know Scott Dixon didn't seem to be too pleased with how he handled the situation with Chip Ganassi racing, and others as well that were kind of looking at him with the side eye, wondering like, guy, what are you doing here? And Alex Palou, I still think he has some work to do to repair his reputation. It's certainly going to take a while, but it's certainly not impossible. Hopefully moving forward, for the sake of his career, he'll make a lot of smarter decisions, not to tarnish what could be a very impressive legacy over the years. And like I was saying earlier, Palou is still very young, far from his prime. We could see him click off another 1, 2, 3, 4, or even 5 championships, potentially getting up to 6, matching his teammate Scott Dixon. So I really think Palou has a lot of potential to do some incredible things over the years in the IndyCar Series.